I just saw a few videos of people using Gemini 3.0 in Google AI Studio to build some crazy stuff, and I wanted to make a video, build 3 different ideas that I have and needs for my business, and just show you the output and just do it in real time. So, without further ado, let's go. First idea. All right, we have this Facebook page that is kind of like a meme page that is in the content monetization program, and we make memes for it. So we take ideas online for memes and we like recreate and make our own. But can we just generate our own meme generator? Well, let's find out. Let's click build. I'm going to use the speech to text and just talk through the idea. I want to build a meme generator tool that creates a random image that would commonly be found in a meme-like item. And I want to put text at the top that is a funny item about that picture that people can relate to. Now, what I want to do is allow the user to select options before the meme is generated. Maybe it's the style of the meme, maybe it's the attitude, maybe it's the language type or the audience that they're speaking to. I'll let you come up with creative ideas for this. But I imagine being able to select different options and then output a meme and then to be able to save the meme and do whatever you want with it. You can make it in whatever style you want. Modern, functional, it just needs to be easy and very easy to use. All right, so I'm gonna let this output go through. I'm not gonna edit this at all. This is what Gemini came up with from my voice prompt. So let's just click build and see what happens. So the way AI Builder works, it's kind of cool. I heard one of the guys from Google in his video talking about it, is that they don't want to overwhelm people that aren't used to development, that like aren't coders, aren't developers. You can look at the code by all means as it builds out the code base. It's like doing this live. You can watch and see what it's doing. Okay, that probably freaks you out if you're not used to code. So you stay on this preview box. But over here, he was saying is that it's kind of interesting. You can roll over here and see what it's doing. The tailwind, the styling, as you start to understand what some of these things do and are, and as you build things, like you should have an understanding, like what the different items do. But I don't think in detail. I don't think you're going to have to know it. So, all right, this is building live. I'm going to pause, and we'll come back and see what it makes. Quick little coffee break. And bam. Okay, here's our first shot edit. I don't love the look, but then again, I didn't give it I wasn't extreme about what it needed to be or whatever. What's the meme about? I kind of want it to come up with the meme ideas, is what I'm thinking. Okay, it's kind of cool. So say it's to Gen Z, painfully relatable, classic font, fine. Generate meme, trying to fix a bug. Yeah, so we're going to change this because I want it to come up with the idea. I want it to say, like, have a common understanding of, like, things that are going on out there. But, like, whatever. We'll leave this in there. Let's click generate meme. Let's see if this happens. Let's see if this works. Thinking up something funny. All right, interested. I'm going to leave this on because I want to see, like, how long it actually takes to generate. That was pretty quick. Okay. My minor bug fix. Crashing production at 2 a.m. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Yeah, developers would get it, right? Of course, that was Gen Z problem. All right, so I'm going to make a change on this one. Let's remove the vibe code purple. Let's make it light. Let's see. So make it light mode. Don't use vibe code purple. Any other color, okay? I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care about the design, right? Like, I'm just trying to... But the biggest change is that we want them to come up with the idea. Potential meme idea. All right, I just thought of this on the fly. So instead of them just coming up with the idea, like, let's give me 5 potential meme ideas, and then like maybe we can even adjust and edit the meme. Yeah, like adjust the ideas on the fly, and we'll choose a different font and stuff like that for the next one. All right, here's take 2. I probably like the first one better, but who cares? And dark's probably better on your eyes. But okay, so it's still requiring me to say what the idea is about. So let me say paying your bills. Let's go Gen Z, painfully relatable. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't really want those like image styles, I don't think, because most memes are like photos by default, I feel like. But okay, let's click brainstorm ideas and see what happens. So this is kind of interesting. So it made me choose what the meme is going to be about. Then we're going to brainstorm ideas, and then hopefully after that we're going to generate a meme. Payday vibes. Bills say poof. Oh, look at this. It even used like Gen Z slang. I'm trying to understand my utility bill. What's a kilowatt hour surcharge again? Yeah, that's pretty funny. I get that. After paying all the bills, treat yourself. Me trying to adult. Paying bills is my only skill tree upgrade. I like both of those. Okay. So what if I like multiple ones? But let me go with this one. Click that. Selected. Can I select more than one? No. Okay. No problem. All right. Now what do I do? Am I able to generate? Oh, okay. Like this should probably go at the bottom. Oh, okay. It's like scrolling on top. It's kind of weird. Top text, bottom text. Okay. Create this meme. All right. Let's see what happens. We'll see what the output is. So I'm like, a few minutes into this single tool, and I can, obviously we need some fixes. Like, this is great. I mean, it's an image, but obviously the text needs to be up at the top, down at the bottom, not in the way of the image. And then this is usable. Yeah. And like, I feel like, you can find a way to speed it up, right? Maybe you could do multiple, like we could figure out multiple outputs. I guess because the point is like, can we create a tool that's faster, that saves us time? If it doesn't save time and it's not faster, then there's no point in having the tool. But I think we can, because currently what we're using is another tool that I created to just like make our own meme and take an image and then like adjust it and adjust the top and add some emojis and stuff like that. So maybe we could take these, make memes, and then if we want to adjust the memes, maybe we could do that. I don't know. Okay, let's move on to the next tool. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that the third one's probably going to be, I'll go in the order of like what I think is easiest to hardest. The third one's going to be a tool that, at the end of the day, we kind of need all of these. The second one's a bit more fun. So for the second one, let's go back to start. For the second one, I want to build out a game. I wouldn't normally build games, to be honest, but one of the demos that I saw was like some pretty cool game stuff. Like, there's two things. One, we run, just to give you some ideas or thoughts, is not a game for game's sake, but can a game be a fun thing that someone can use, share, and then like drive people back to your brand? So anyways, like that's a thought, right? That's kind of how I'm thinking about it. So let's make a fun game for entrepreneurs in my world. Actually, like I don't really know the answer. So let me just kind of, again, let me think out loud. I'll give it a speech to text. I'll talk through it. We'll see what Gemini does, and we'll go from there. All right, I want to make a fun game that's interactive for entrepreneurs. I am like the king of side hustles and have a bunch of different income streams, and I want to launch and test new online ideas. So it could be a fun game that, I don't know what the game does. It's like a character that's like tackling or punching or fighting ideas and trying to get up the hill and the peaks and valleys of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is like a roller coaster. So maybe it's like a roller coaster ride where you're going up and you're down and you're excited. You have highs, you have lows. Make a game out of that. I have no idea what this is gonna come up with. That was pretty crazy. But all right, we'll see what it comes up with. And actually, while we're waiting, the third one that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use a screenshot of a tool and start from there. So it's interesting. I'm gonna use a screenshot of another tool. Okay. I want to make a fun game that's interactive for entrepreneurs. I'm the king of side hustles and have a bunch of different income streams. I want to launch and test new ideas, punch ideas, the peaks and the valleys of entrepreneurs. It's like a roller coaster. Make a game out of that. All right, I have no idea what this is going to do, but let's build it. Boom. Let's hit go. I'm excited about this one. And again, if you're thinking, okay, this is a game. I have a business. I don't need a game. Okay, but what is there an interactive game with your product or service? Maybe you sell. This is crazy. Maybe you're like a plumber. Can you create a fun plumbing game that's like interactive on your website that a customer can land on, or that could be send out to a customer while they're waiting on you to do something? I can for sure tell you that it would set you apart if you can find the right way to do it. And then if you can create the right game, it'll get people to talk about you. I mean, clearly, I'm sure you could think of really funny and fun games that a plumber could create and make. All right, that idea is for free. Again, if you want to see what's actively happening in the background of this is what's happening. Like the computer's literally building this. It just blows my mind. Still blows my mind. And honestly, we don't know what we're going to get, so I don't really know what changes we would even make to this tool, this game. I have no idea. We'll find out. So interesting. It found errors. It's analyzing the errors. It's trying to fix the errors. And feel like something's happening here. I just found it so interesting that it's like, it fixes its own bugs. It looks like the name is Hustle Coaster, the Unicorn Hunt, which I love. That's a great name. You are the king of side hustles. Fight market crashes, launch questionable ideas, and ride the peaks and valleys of the chart. Kind of funny, the unicorn. If I'm not hustling for a unicorn, which is the definition of a $1 billion company that reaches $1 billion valuation, we should totally add that. All right, does it work? Holy smokes. Okay, I click go. Simulating market. What? Everyone's slapping AI powered on everything. You found a way to sprinkle some machine learning dust on your existing product. Make it next gen. Grind, fight, delegate, automate, ignore, zen, do nothing, plus 10 energy. Delegate, automate. I feel like I should get some energy for that. That's cool. Okay, no worries. All right, is this a game? I'm not. Oh wait. I was like, I wanna ride on a roller coaster or something. Oh, what is happening? All right, this is great. It went way off in the deep end here. I do not think this is a game at all that I had in mind. Hustle coaster. So, all right, I'm gonna think for a moment. I'm gonna give it a new prompt. All right, this is gonna be kind of crazy. I want us to start from scratch. Using your name as the inspiration, Unicorn Hunt. We need to be riding in a roller coaster style cart, Indiana Jones style, of course, and be punching at the bad guys on our quest to hunt and find the unicorn. All right, so we'll see what that does. While we're waiting, I was like deploying the app. I know makes it public, and I don't know how that works, but one of the benefits, one of the things you can do everything you would do with any other normal app. You could download the code to the app. You can add it to GitHub so that you can save this code, and then you can do what you want with it. You could, have a developer work with you on the code that you create. You can put it in GitHub, download it in like whatever, Cursor, you can host it somewhere. So deploying the app, I know makes it public. I don't know much more than that. And the other thing that I do know is that you're using the Google products, their APIs. So if you need image generation or their Gemini model for whatever, you're using their API. In this environment, when we're creating our game, we have like a certain amount that's free. And I do know that if you deploy it or make your app live, you're then just using whatever their API costs are. So it's pretty brilliant what they're doing with this tool, is like creating their own vibe coding tool to compete with all the other ones on the market. They're making it free. So you're jumping in here, you're creating free stuff. And then they're like, cool, on the back end, just use our API. And you don't have to, because you can send it to GitHub and you can use some other API or some other tool or whatever. But so I think it's pretty interesting what they're doing here. All right, here we go. Now we're starting. Now we're talking. We got a shopping cart, unicorn hunt. We're gonna insert a coin. This is probably more my type of game. Insert, reach a $1 billion valuation. Threats, bugs, lawsuits, competitors. Love it. Weapons, punch, pivot, bribe. All right, insert coin, which I assume that means we're gonna start our game. We have a healthy runway. Evaluation. Is the game loading here? Let's see. The feature creep zombie. Groaning, it lurches forward, is riding hands. Okay. Kind of cool. So a jab. It's a quick fix. So this game initializing. Still pending. Startup initialize. Warm. Pay to win. What happens when I click that? Nothing. All right. Let me reload it real quick. This is something we can work with though. Like, I feel like I could turn this into something fun for sure. Now, obviously we're like one-shotting this, right? So I gave it very, very basic instructions. So is this actually loading? I don't think it is. It appears to be loading. Kind of funny that it uses a shopping cart instead of an Indiana Jones style. I was thinking of that, whatever, Temple of Doom movie where they're like riding through the thing. All right, cool. This one, definitely not working on like stage 1 or whatever, like our meme generator was working, as far as I know. But could totally spend probably an hour, if I would imagine, and just like talk about different items and adjust and go back and forth with the AI and generate this tool. Cool. One shot, obviously not great. No big deal. All right, let me move to the third item that I'm going to use for business as well and see if it can create it. To give you quick context, just this morning I was chatting with my teammate. We're trying to create a tool that can take RSS feeds and like choose some articles, summarize them, do some things. Well, there's a tool like RSS.app that allows you to this is pretty cool. It allows you to create a feed, an RSS feed from any item like this. So if you basically enter a URL of like a website or whatever, it creates an RSS feed to be able to like tell you when there's new content on that. All right, this tool has a lot of different stuff, but I don't need all this different stuff. Like if you go to their pricing page, there's a lot. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a screenshot of this, maybe even 2 screenshots. Maybe I'll grab one of the home page, and let's also grab one of that RSS generator page. Let's do that as well. Okay, sign up. This one I'm really curious to see what it can do, what it can come up with. All right, let me give it a voice prompt. We want to create a tool where we can easily generate RSS feeds from most any web page or resource that has a live website link. I want to be able to paste the link of that resource, and then the output be an RSS feed that we can add to a list and have a list to be able to use that output and get notified of new content from those resources. I've also attached a couple of screenshots from the tool that we're looking to recreate based on the idea of it. Let's see what it comes up with. And when I say what it comes up with, all it's doing is just analyzing my text-to-speech. All right, here's what it came up with. It's pretty good. Let's just click build. Let's see what happens. Let's see what it comes up with on the first shot. I thought I broke it for a second. Okay, so it's straight up, it built the exact same thing. I looked down, I looked back up, and this was on my screen, and I thought it just had the screenshot. Nope, this is it. Holy smokos. Okay, so it literally took the copy of it and rebuilt this thing. All right, the question is like, this is the actual website. Okay, so that's cool, but the question is, so that's great. So it built all this HTML and CSS to make the page render and look like this, but can we get it to actually work? I mean, I have no idea. So let's see what happens if I put in like a Twitter feed. I mean, I don't imagine that this tool is actually going to work. Gosh, this is crazy. It built the thing though. Okay, stay up with my latest post. So it builds an RSS to XML. I mean, does this work? How do I test it? I need to ask and find out how can I test and make sure this works. Also, the only features, I know it copied everything, but the only features, I don't need bots or blog, so I'm going to ask it to remove anything that's not related to the RSS. How am I able to actually test this tool to know if it truly works? I see that it generated an .xml link from something, but how can I truly test it? Also, regarding the design, I like where we started, but the only things that we're going to need is anything that's about generating an RSS feed from a source. So anything about bots or the blog or anything that you feel is unrelated to that, let's remove it and make it a little bit cleaner. The whole target of this tool is to be an RSS generator from resources that we find around the internet. All right, let's see what that does. I'll be honest, this is a little above my pay grade to like even understand or know how it's working. So in this video, I'm not gonna be able to do that. I just don't know. I don't know what to do with that feed. I feel like you'd have to have new content to be published for it to push to say like, oh, here's something new. So I feel like I have a ways to go to test this one, but so interesting that this is this is literally a carbon copy of that website that I can almost like start as a base product and build from and mold. Yeah, we're in a whole new world, man. All right, so here's my voice to text down here. Let's submit that. Let's see what it has to say. While we're waiting, the other thing that I find interesting is that like rewind 1 year ago, for sure you would put in a prompt and you get back some design. 6 months ago, you put in a prompt and it's like some stuff is starting to work, but like what's happening is that stuff is starting to get more and more and more functional, like out of the gate that you can just make adjustments to. And I find that really wild. Fast forward another year, and I really think, maybe not 1 year, but like it's coming very soon where you can just kind of speak and create directly what you want. So I'm in the world and I'm going to build tools and see if I can like sell them and get customers and stuff. I don't know. I don't even know how long that exists in a world. There's got to be like giant companies with big software products that make all the revenue from their software. They've got to be like, oh my gosh, like we're about to get disrupted. And how can we generate more money in a different way? I'm sure there's a lot of meetings happening right now. All right, how to test. I've implemented a real RSS XML generator. Now when you generate a feed, you can click XML to open a valid browser-rendered XML file or preview to see a visual representation of the feed items. It proves the tool works by producing actual structured data. Okay, interesting. So it's going to take the website that we put in, and it's going to create structured data from it, and then very cool. Remove bots and blog, realism as a service, now generates 5 realistic sample articles. Okay. Functionality. All right, so it's doing these things. I'll show you in just a second. These are all the code changes. So it's doing these things live, and then soon it's going to pop up the new version here. All right, here we go. Drum roll, please. Bam. The number one source of RSS feeds connect with information you care about. All right, cool. Get started now. Yep, we had so many users join last week. Okay, start back from scratch. Cool. Get started now. So what I'll be curious is like, can it store these? So that's what we'll probably have to get to. Is that like, cool, can we put these? If I'm using this tool internally, it's going to be super easy if this actually works. So like, cool, we just take the feed, we keep it. If I ever wanted to turn this into a product, it's going to get, obviously, there's a lot more detail that goes into that, right? Even so, this is the new thing I'm finding out. If something works for me, or I can create a tool that works internally, that's so much easier. I mean, it's cool, don't get me wrong, and it's hard. But it's so much easier than turning around and creating a tool that's available for the public, that you're like collecting money and you have a database and users. There's just like a lot more stuff involved there. And that's the stuff that I'm diving into. All right, let's click preview. 2023. Okay, these aren't real. Okay, that's not like the latest information. I don't think it is. Future. Yeah. So yeah, this is all dummy data, which is fine. Okay, whatever. But the question is, so I guess that proves it's not working. The design is super cool. Now we have to figure out how to like actually go scrape that data, right? And I'm fine to do that for the next step, especially as an internal tool that I can use for myself to just not have to use some other tool. And maybe it makes sense to pay another tool if I can't easily figure it out. But I feel like I'll be able to kind of easily figure out the next step and figure out how to make it a live functional tool, even if it's just something that I use rather than, putting it on GitHub or deploying the app for the public. I'm not sure yet. I don't know. And it may make sense to deploy these apps to the public if I can find something that's simple, let them use it and direct, it's like, hey, created by me, and direct people back to me, especially if the cost is super low and really inexpensive. It's going to be really interesting to see. I'm curious to see what you're building, what ideas you have, the progress you've made if you're digging in and learning this stuff as you go. And man, 6 months from now, it's going to be wild. See ya.